I want to go into detail on the ranking of the 12 games for Baylor football this year in accordance to importance. I want to start from the bottom and work my way up. Number 12 is Albany. No offense to Albany, but that game is not meaningful. Not to say it's not meaningful. It's just it should be a win anyway. And obviously Texas State has to be number 2 because number 11 because it's those two games. Bottom two games are not the most difficult games in the second, and Kansas is up there at number 9 because I think Kansas is going to improve, but not improve enough to be a contender or anything. Maybe like a 3 or 4 win football team, but I don't think one of those wins will come against Baylor. Iowa State's number 9. I only put them this low because I don't expect Iowa State to be a world beater, and they always start slow. It's September anyway. And they lost a lot of guys from last year too. So number 8 is Texas Tech because I only put them higher than Iowa State because it's a track game for the Oklahoma game, which I'll get to in a second. And I expect them to be like a borderline bowl game team. And Iowa State, I don't know if they're going to be a bowl game team, or if they are they just a 7-8 win football team? Or they go 5-7 for whatever reason. Obviously, Kansas State is number 7. They're the better. That's a good home game test. And I expect them to be better than Texas Tech this year. Yes, I know the transfer quarterback was not great in Nebraska, but he's a good quarterback. He just makes a lot of mistakes. He just makes some mistakes. I only put number 6 is West Virginia. I only put West Virginia higher than Kansas State because of one reason. It's on the road, and it's a middle of the week. And it's a track, not really a track. It is somewhat of a track game, and they do have a good quarterback, but I'm not going to say their quarterback's going to fix every issue that West Virginia had. They're going to be better. It's just a matter of, are they just an 8-win football team or a 9-win football team? I don't say forget 10 wins, forget 11 wins. Those West Virginia fans are crazy when they say that. They're crazy. Because last year they said 10-win football team. Guess how many wins they got? 6. So that's just my point. And if they go like 7 or 6 wins or less, Neil Brown might be fired. Texas is number 5 because I think they're going to improve, but the problem for Texas really is the offensive line and the defensive line. And it's senior day, and it's on the road. That's why it's higher on the list. And it's a rivalry game. And granted, we don't know. This is the last time Baylor's going to play Texas in Austin here. TCU's only up at 4 for me. It's not because of the difficulty of the game in terms of the quality of team. It's because Baylor's not beat TCU a lot recently since 2014, like 2 times. 2019, only 2 times since 61-58. That's just crazy. They couldn't even beat them last year, which that's just insane. But it's a new coach, and we know a new coach cannot be so up high on the expectations. I think they'll be a good team, potentially like 8 wins, but I could also see them not making a bowl game. So, Oklahoma State's number 3 because that's the first big home game of the year. First of all, they want revenge against Baylor, what they did in the Big 12 title game. Granted, they lost a lot of starters on defense and their defensive coordinator. Their offense wasn't great. They lost Jalen Warren, who is in NFL now. They even lost their backup to the NFL as well. So they're down to their 3rd string. And the guy that ran the ball that last play, he's in the transfer portal. Yeah, that's right. So And we know Spencer Sanders has struggled against Baylor. Historically, he has. Granted, the 2020 year was no, but you know what I'm saying. He was been turnover prompt. Like 2019, he had a few turnovers in that game. And obviously, last year in the 2 meetings, he threw 7 interceptions. So he's more of a game manager. BYU's not number 2 because it's the biggest game on the road up to conference play, in my opinion. And it's a good test for both teams as well. And I know they lost Tyler Algier, but they returned nearly everything else, including their quarterback from last year. So that's the reason why they're on that list. And it's a road game. It's a difficult place to play too. And number 1 is Oklahoma. I don't know what to expect from Oklahoma this year, to be fair. I could see 8 wins or 7 wins for year 1 under their new coach. But I could also see 10-2 or 11-1. But forget unbeaten. They lost a lot of guys to USC. Their skill positions especially. I'm not going to say Dylan Gabriel is better than Caleb Williams. And remember, he's coming off of an injury. Let's keep that in mind. Too. And it's the only reason why it's this high is it's the hostility on the road as well. I'm just curious what y'all's thoughts on that is. So, if you're a Baylor fan especially, and what are your 12 games in importance for your respective favorite teams in college football this year? Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. That's going to be at the 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year.